Ooh, do we not sail on a ship of fools? Sorry about that. That's the title of this video, Ship of Fools. It actually comes from Plato's Republic. It's really lousy indie. I don't know what you'd call them actually. Electronic duo Erasure. They did a song called that. Somebody actually, I actually went and saw them in early 1986 at Brunel University, and the singer was actually going on the 207 bus to the same concert that he was performing at. The same bus that I happened to be on with the person that I was going to go and see the concert with. Anyway, why am I talking about the ship of fools? Well, the idea of it is, in Plato's Republic, is we're stuck on this ship, and many of the people that we have to interact with, and I suppose our fate depends upon, are extremely foolish. So I'm going to just talk about some things that have happened recently. So the first one is I had a conversation with a guy who's an ex. He used to work for the November Hotel Sierra. I'm not going to mention his name, but he's got quite a high profile and he does podcasts. And I'm going to go on his podcast in January. Anyway, I talked to him over the telephone. And I also think it's useful to ask questions of these people because you're never quite sure who you're talking to. I'm more and more convinced that a lot of people who have big followings are basically they're puppets of the secret services. I'm not saying that this guy is, but honestly, with all of the marches in London, in fact, I will talk about this one first. This first aspect of the ship of fools, which is the mainstream alternative media. Some of it is just so laughable. So I'll give you two examples. First off, there was this kind of shock horror staged arrest of a young woman. Probably she looked like mid-20s, something like that, and she had a young baby in arms, a young baby, and she was arrested for an offensive carrying an offensive placard. And the placard, you could actually see it in this video. It was nothing anti-Semitic, nothing anti-Muslim or anything like that. It basically said something along the lines of, there'll always be deaths when there's lots of money to be made from war. So for me, this is quite obviously the woman's secret services or undercover police. The baby is just the plant, and it's there. It's another one of these ones where the objective behind it is to scare people and to encourage them to self-censor. I've done about 2 videos on this, coming up with other examples of situations that either the mainstream media have used or the alternative mainstream have used of trying to create fear with the objective of trying to get me and you to self-censor. Oh, look what happened to that person. He spoke up and it was like pretty mild and he got thrown in jail. Oh, I better not speak up. So there was that one. The second one was even more ridiculous. So there's this guy. He's again as a alternative mainstream media guy, and this is Maya something or other, some Iranian bloke. He's got a huge alternative media profile, now over 100,000 followers on YouTube, definitely controlled opposition, and basically, there's a film there of him being arrested in a pub. He went to have a drink in a pub and people were randomly arrested, and he went to the toilet and he was randomly arrested. And it's like film of like basically this guy who's like secret services being interviewed by some of the police about him being arrested for like basically nothing. So again, the objective here is fear, and what they want is for you to sort of think, oh, I better not go on any more demonstrations because I could be arrested. Look at this guy. All he did was that he went into the pub for a wee and now he's been arrested. Oh, I better. So it's you know, honestly, if people are so stupid, like the ship of fools, that people can't see through this nonsense. I posted a short yesterday of some of the, basically it was at, allegedly it was at this, I'm not sure whether it was, I think it was actually the cenotaph bit, so you had some undercover police, dressed up as they always dress up, they've always got baseball caps on. And basically they were pushing themselves towards some Welsh police. They actually had, in Welsh, police is hello or something. And there was like some jostling, and I just put it to some Strictly Come Dancing music and just whacked it up as a short. Just so ridiculous, so choreographed. So this is the ship of fools that we inhabit. Ridiculous that there are still some people who just can't see through this. So that's kind of my first ship of fools moment. So going back to this geezer then, who used to work for the November Hotel Sierra. So I'm talking to this bloke over the phone, and he's asking me questions and stuff. Okay, I'm taking it at face value. So I thought, well, let's ask him some questions. So he worked for the November Hotel Sierra. He's now in private practice. So I just asked him, right? Well, I basically started a statement. I said to him, look, by June 2020, I said to him, it must have been obvious. I don't think it's conceivable that anybody working for the November Hotel Sierra didn't know the truth about Divok by June of 2020. And then I said to him, I also think it's inconceivable that people didn't know the truth about the impacts, the effects of the Britney Spears and the boosters. Or it would have just been the Britney Spears, wouldn't it, really? By, Easter of 2021. And this guy, he used to work for the November Hotel Sierra, he basically said, yeah. I was expecting him to sort of say, oh, well, but he didn't. He just basically said, yeah, they all know. They all know. It's inconceivable. So I'm not sure whether you could call this... It is like we are on a ship of fools. We are in this ship, and most of the people that we're stuck on this ship with are fools. Immoral people, deeply immoral people. And I think, I don't know, likes of Lee Veritas, Vincent, Marty Bucco, Tim Fairplay now. I think, and many of you, all of you, I would imagine, who are watching this video, apart from, 77th Brigade, hello to the 77th. We're weird. We are part of this 30% of the population who wouldn't sell out their own children, never mind the rest of humanity, for the sake of their material creature comforts and some status. As I said, I've said this a few times already, long before this kind of nonsense started. I always used to sort of wonder, like, how did the nation that created Goethe and Beethoven, how did they go along with the tiny German moustache man? How did so many people go along with such great evil? And of course now we know most people are incredibly stupid and shallow, and all that matters to them is ego and status and their material creature comforts. They just, that's it. There's no, they don't think about what they're here for, what is the point of life, why they were created, who created them, what life is for. They're not interested in that. All they're interested in is whether they should buy a second-hand hybrid electric car, or whether they should buy a Tesla, or what colour bathroom suite they're going to have next, or what they're going to eat on Christmas Day. Yeah, so this phrase isn't like normie or whatever to describe these people, but that's not descriptive enough. These people are foolish, yes, most definitely foolish, and also just completely morally bankrupt. They just do not care at all. All they care about is how they're perceived by other people. That's crucial. I did a video about branding. I don't know, about 6 or 7 videos back. Watch it, because I think it helps to explain what you can see around you, and to understand the behaviour of these fools who inhabit the same ship as us. Their overriding goal, their overriding kind of thought process is, how am I going to be perceived by other people? And this brings me on to the third thing that I wanted to talk about today, which was I went and took my car to, needed some work done on it, some new brakes and stuff. So I had a bit of time, went to the old Partori, which is hairdresser in Finnish, and so I had a bit of time, so I went for a coffee. It's very nice. I had my kakkorappuleipä, which is this like open sandwich with like egg, loads of prawns, mayonnaise, open with some salad. Absolutely fantastic. Anyway, so I'm sat there minding my own business, reading the newspaper. There's 3 newspapers in there, and this guy walks in, and I've been living in Finland now for more or less exactly 3 years, and Finns, they have a very distinctive look, so you recognise immediately when somebody isn't Finnish. So this guy comes in, he's white, but he looks, I clocked him immediately. I thought, this guy's British, and sure enough, he was, because as he approached the counter, he starts speaking really, really loud and in English, which for me, it's like straight away, he's like this little guy, I've always had this sort of like little and kind of quite frail. So that type of bloke, what they tend to do is overcompensate, for their lack of height and lack of muscle power. And it's just like, anyway, Mighty Mouse type people. So he starts ordering in English, and he's got his gilet on and all of this kind of like, so anyway, he sits down at another table, and this Finnish bloke, he'd obviously arranged to meet a Finnish bloke, and Finnish bloke sits down, and within about a minute, he's going on about conspiracy theory, and he says this phrase, conspiracy theory. I'm not joking, like literally every 90 seconds. And he's also bellowing it out. Now, for me, when you live in a place for a while, you kind of get used to the local way of things. And basically, loud conversations in a coffee shop, it's not good. It's not good in Finland, because the idea here is that people respect each other's privacy, and you don't have loud conversations in places. You speak a lot more quietly than you would do in England, and so other people can have conversations and with each other, and no one's disturbed. There's none of this like bellowing across tables like what often happens, what I remember happening in Britain, like people not respecting each other. Anyway, so this guy, again, for me, the phrase conspiracy theory, it's a red flag. As I've said I did another video about that. Watch that. For me, it's a phrase used by the intellectually disabled to shut down a debate before a debate has even begun. That's my definition of a conspiracy theory. So this guy's beginning to really piss me off. Excuse my French. Because I'd still had quite a bit of my prawn sandwich to go, and I'd got my coffee, and the car was going to be a while, and I was enjoying reading the newspaper. So anyway, I thought to myself, I finally finished it, and it was time to go. And I thought, should I just like put this fool right? And initially I didn't. I went to the toilet first, and then I came back out, and then I thought, I'm just going to go for this. And this is something else that I've realised about myself, is that even before the nonsense, I came to the conclusion later on in my life that it's pointless to worry about what people think about you, and it's much more important to just speak the truth. And these people who, go with this conspiracy theory phrase, they're extremely dangerous people because they tend to be collectivists. What they want is for other people to not think critically about the narrative put forward by the government or the government-backed media, and they just want people to conform in a collectivist manner, for the greater good. So I just thought, right, I'm just going to get stuck into you, mate. So I came over, initially I introduced myself to this English guy who I didn't know, the little small bloke. And then I just thought, I was a bit cheeky, I know. I just said to him, so I noticed you were going on about conspiracy theories a lot. I said to him, is that your own phrase? And he goes, no, he said, no, it just means conspiracy and theory. And I said to him, yeah, I know that. But what do you mean by it? And I basically, I just used the tactics that I've used in the past that I did the video about. So, I said to him, so what you're saying then is that rich and powerful people never communicate with each other and coordinate their activities. And I used the example of a cartel. So I said, if a group of industrialists in the same market get together and rig prices, that's a conspiracy, isn't it? Because a conspiracy is a secret agreement, a tacit agreement between several parties to try to deceive a victim, to try to mislead them. Normally it's to gain a financial advantage. In the case of a cartel, it's to trick consumers into paying higher prices by limiting competition. So I said to this guy, so would that be a conspiracy theory or would that be a conspiracy fact? So again, these people are like, ooh, we're on the ship of fools, It's like, and in the end, I was saying to him, so basically what this conspiracy theory thing is that you've just heard people on Yle, which is the Finnish equivalent of the BBC, or Helsingin Sanomat, which is like the equivalent of Guardian, going on about conspiracy theory, and you're like the parrot in the corner who just blindly regurgitates all of this stuff. And I said to him as well, I wasn't agitating, I wasn't shouting or anything like that. But I just pretty calmly put this bloke in his place because it was the straw that broke the camel's back. And I think, I'm rambling here now, but there was some other stuff that I just said to him, I said to him, look, basically what you're doing is you think that people who agree with Ule and Helsingin Sanomat are intelligent people, and you think that the other people will perceive the people that parrot their lines, including these conspiracy theory kind of slurs, are intelligent. So if you also say it, you hope that other people will think you're intelligent as well, and that's your game. And I basically said to him, started talking to him about critical thinking, that you need to think a little bit more critically. Do you know your history? Do you know that governments have governments ever done anything in secret to the disadvantage of their populations? Do you know about this? So anyway, he got unsurprisingly, he got pretty agitated, and I just left in the end. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, do we leave these fools to their own devices? On the one hand, you can say, well, that's the polite thing to do, isn't it? But then the other side of the argument is that we are sharing this same ship. We are on the ship of fools, and these people are extremely dangerous, because these people that spout the conspiracy theory slur to try to shut down debate, they are authoritarian collectivists. They don't like other opinions that differ from what they've been taught to believe and regurgitate. I called this guy a repeater station. I explained the concept of repeater stations to him. You might think I was being a bit harsh. I probably was being a bit harsh, but as I'm saying here is that we also have we have an awful lot of skin in the game. You know, I've got a son. Many of you will have children. Some of you will have grandchildren. We have a duty to try to shake up this ship of fools, because the ship isn't heading in a particularly good direction at the moment. And I reckon that there's probably about 30% of us who are intelligent, independent thinkers. And we have to be brave and risk, I don't know, getting into arguments with people, because we can't allow these consensus huggers, these PC authoritarians, to just have a monopoly on the debates. You know, for this guy to be sort of shouting out conspiracy theory over and over and over again in a cafe, in a public place, it's just annoying, really, really annoying. So yeah, we are on the ship of fools, and my strategy going forward is zero tolerance to the fools. I'm just going to put these fools right over and over and over again. I probably didn't do it particularly effectively. Maybe this is one of my own weaknesses, and is that I tend to just batter things home, basically, not physically, obviously, but just keep on going until it's just been steamrolled completely, which obviously creates resentment, which isn't good. A much better way is to maybe do less at once and use a bit more humour, a bit more questioning. But anyway, I kind of failed in that one. So yeah, here we are on the ship of fools. So yeah, God bless.